morning, everybody. I'm Terry Daugherty, and I'm here with Rhonda Martin in the MCA Film Studio at Book Expo 2013. And this morning we're talking about Stuck, Rhonda's award-winning children's book about a young girl named Cinnamon with OCD. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Is this your first PEA?
Well, it's actually my second, but it is my first with Mom's Choice.
Wonderful. Well, welcome. Hope you've had a good time, good experience here.
Fantastic.
You have had the opportunity to share Stuck and have been talking about this with a lot of media outlets that our viewers know. ABC, Fox, several radio outlets. What kind of issues or what kind of questions are you answering when you're on some of those shows?
Well, typically what happens, Terry, is anytime there's something in the news that is relevant for children or for families that have anxiety within them, for example, anything to do with tornadoes or hurricanes, school shootings, mall shootings, cinema shootings, and even with what happened with the Boston Marathon, whenever there's anything that happens that can cause anxiety for children, it's in the news and these children hear about it. So oftentimes the stations, what they'd like to do is to help the parents answer the questions that young children may have about it, and that's when I get called to do those shows.
That's cool. It's nice to know that there's a resource, a go-to resource for them to help those of us who are parents and really need that assistance.
Well, and I'll tell you, it feels very natural for me to go do that. I have a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 12-year-old, so pretty much what I'm experiencing at home with my own children is the very message that I need to take to the viewers and the listeners of those shows. So having that experience firsthand, I kind of know the questions that they come up with, and those are the ones we try to answer on the air.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because one of my thoughts was in reading the book and listening and sort of visualizing who Cinnamon is. I mean, where did she come from? Is she representative of somebody in your life or someone in your family?
Well, Cinnamon is actually a lot of different people, patients, individuals I've known, probably a total of around 20 different parts of individuals' anxiety or OCD. So one page may be typical of one of the patients I might have had in the past, whereas another one is just a person that I've met along the way, a parent that I've met at a school meeting whose child has OCD. So what the goal was is to bring together all of those different kinds of symptoms of anxiety and OCD so that these children, when they read it, can feel like someone out there understands them, and that their secret isn't a secret that they have to keep anymore. It's one that they can show pages of the book and explain to their parents what life is like at school and with their friends and at their church and just what they struggle from.
Some of Cinnamon's behaviors would seem to mirror the activities and personality traits that we see in children that are diagnosed with ADHD. How do you distinguish ADHD from obsessive compulsive disorder?
Thank you for asking that, because that's so important. I often get a lot of children that have actually been misdiagnosed as ADHD into my practice, and then we discover that it's OCD. And we have to be very careful, because the energy that some children have when they have anxiety, it actually looks the same as ADHD because of that energy, especially in the aspect where there's hyperactivity. So it's very easy to get the two confused. And what we have to look at is a very solid family history. We want to go back in mom, dad, grandparents, aunts, uncles. And what we find typically in cases of OCD is someone in the family had that or a very similar type of anxiety disorder. So family history is really important, and then finding out what the child's thinking in their mind when they're acting so energized, and we want to ask them, are you worried about something? What were you just thinking about before you started pacing back and forth? What was going on in your mind? And we have to get inside there, and typically I talk to the parents the first session and the kids the second and third session, so that the kids can kind of do a little play therapy, get comfortable in the office, and then open up about what's really on the inside of their mind.
Well, thank you for helping me with that, because I hear ADHD far more than I hear OCD, but clearly we need to pay a little more attention to the child themselves rather than the labels.
Yes, definitely.
Well, I'm so glad you stopped by. Congratulations on your Mom's Choice Awards.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
We'll look forward to seeing you again.
Great.